Again, right? Finding people with our minds. Right? So, I set the task. Right? And so, if you watch the first video at all, these two drawings are also in it. Right? But these are examples as I was explaining my worldview. Right? Okay? And so this is a subdivision of 18, right? Where every relationship between each 9-sided polygon, so it skips one, right? Is in here. Right? So there's every relationship between each one, right? Interlaced, stacked on top of each other. Right? This is the icosahedron, right? The dodecahedron inside of it, right? Each of the diagonals, right? This is a square right here. To find the edge of a cube, there's 5 cubes inside of here as well, right? So 5 cubes offer 5 pentagrams occupying the area inside of each of the pentagonal faces, right? Over here on the far right, right? This is, what is this? 7 ellipses, right? With 5, right? Golden mean spirals, pentagonal subdivisions of each ellipse, right? And so, each time the band goes up and over, right? It skips one and goes to the next one, right? And so now this one is going to go, where does it go? Yeah, here it is. Up to here, to this one, right? And then this one's going to go all the way across to that one, right? And so there's 5 of them, right? And so if you have a subdivision of 5, right? And you skip 2, and then draw a line, right? It goes one way. And if you skip 3, it goes another way. Of course you could skip 1, right? Right? But my point is that, right? Below this is a wonderful poem from John Michel called The New Jerusalem. Right? So this circle, the primary circle, is divided into 28, right? 28 subdivisions. There's a square that goes around this circle, right? And so each of these squares is used as the base of a triangle, right? And the distance from the midpoint of the square, which touches the circle, to where the triangle penetrates into the main circle, right, is 1/7 of the diameter, right? 4 sides of the square, right? 28 subdivisions, right? And so there's 3 squares in the middle, right? And then there's also these 12 circles, right? Right? And that's in the Bible, somewhere, Revelation or Ezekiel, about the new temple. Right? 3 on each side, right? That's definitely in there somewhere, right? Here we have a compound of 16 equilateral triangles, right? So this circle is subdivided into 48, right? And then, of course, you walk all the way around it and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? All the way to 16, right? And then you start over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? You get it? Okay. Underneath here, right? This is a real jewel, right? This is 88 subdivisions of the circle, right? And so this is 11 pointed stars. Right? I don't know what you would even call those. Some graceful name, I'm sure, right? But this, right? Sick, right? And so, of course, over here, right? Self-portrait, right? It's hard to see it under here, right? But I cast another arc from my nose, right? Over the top. And I put the symbols of the celestial conditions overhead. Right? Okay, so these are all, right? life has an intellectual origin, right? Are you keeping up, right? Embedded within every cubic centimeter of space, right, in terms of information, right, is the seed of all creation, right? And it's through the pressure of the conscious field, right, exerting a force upon that static knowing, right, that engenders an electrical condition to emerge within creation, right? So these are all meditations, aren't they? Right? That when you look at these, right? Right? I mean, really look at them, you know? You can close your eyes, right? And you can conjure them in your mind, right? You can see them in your mind's eye, right? And with other forms, you know, you can see them move even, you know? The imagination can compel any of these to move, of course. However, right? My point is that, at least with the vector equilibrium, it breathes, you know, it does move. Okay. So, I built my first board on roughly January the 2nd of this year. Man, it was a taste of that. That's the highest level, right? Right there. No bullshit. Right? I had a bunch of awful shit on that board. Right? To poison his mind, and I succeeded. Right? I thought I was poisoning. Right? A fucking bitch's mind. Right? But of course, right? Some joke got me good, you know? Very funny. Right? But the damage is done to him as well, right? Right? That he can, right? He can put on his monkey suit, right? He can be as charming as he always is, right? Right? But when the camera's off, right? Right? And so now, you know, as soon as he admitted that he has no daughter, that's all bullshit, right? That he's been playing a sick game on me, right? For 6 months, right? After me, you know, giving him a real taste, right? For maybe 2 weeks. He had to tell me 3 times. Right? Because I didn't believe him. And he kept, you know, this is his game. This is his game. Oh gosh, it's so much. Bang. Right? So, right? He tells me there's no daughter. Right? That's all bullshit. Right? Because if we go to the next level, right? We get something like this, don't we? Who's that? Right? Former CEO of William Morris Endeavor. The CEO when this whole debacle was going down. I don't think he is anymore. Something Shapiro now. Right? Ari Emanuel, right? I would say that's a pretty savage sigil right there. Right? That this is, right? This is Solomon's key right here. Right? Right? So this circle in particular, right, is subdivided into 51. So it's 17 equilateral triangles, right? Which is more magic. This is more powerful one than the set of 16, for sure. Right? With the ineffable running down it, right? What is that? Collapsing, right? Pentagrams over his eye, right? Right? So we said that these are meditations, right? That you can look at these, right? And I mean, fucking look at them, right? Till you go into a trance, right? And then, when you're still in your mind, right? You can conjure them. Because though, right? It's an expression of man. It is also an expression of some part of a divine form. That's the point. Right? So, right? These are the archetypes, right? Like, that allow complex molecular structure, complex cellular structure to emerge around it, right? Like, this is your celestial skeleton, right? That embeds as a perfect hologram in every cubic centimeter of space, right? So dense, right? It must be acted upon by an outside force to corrupt itself and mutate into manifested reality, right? Yes, this is the point, right? So you stare at these right here, right? And you unlock, right, the mystery, right, of how the hologram is comprised. This is the point, right? The field permeates every cubic centimeter of space, right? And so if you put somebody's face in the middle of it, right? Knowing this guy lives in LA, right? Right? Someone says it's profane for me to make this video. Right? I say, take it up with your master. I have none. Right? So I have the right to say it. I'm living it. I have the right to say it. Right? So, have I wielded this in any sort of way? I took it to mass. Right? I took it to mass a couple times, stared at it the whole time. Someone wanted to look at it. I said, no, they wouldn't understand. You know. Right? On the other side, Sarah Staudinger, his wife. Right? Subdivision of 42. Right? I wanted her in a different one. They had Malachi. Some real kick you in the balls, bust your balls about divorce type scripture. But it was too dense. I couldn't put her face over it. And of course, this is a mystical, right? 4 + 2 is 6. You're a real motherfucker, you know that? Sorry, I have a little cat, and I have another cat that can't get around so good, you know? It's like a special needs cat, you know? He's just kind of shuffles. And the other one's really small, and so she's just like bullying him because she doesn't know any better, you know? Okay, right? So, this is a celestial scaffolding, right? This is a subspatial, subatomic scaffolding, right? This is a piece of the hologram, right? This is the supposition, right? Which embeds in all of space, right? This man is a personal entity upon the earth, right? He is existing in a point in space and time in the earth right now, right? Right? So when you embed the hologram, right? In tandem, right? And then you push that, right? Or you meditate, you look in for that, right? The mind will reveal, right? The mind will give you where they are. It will show you what they are doing. This is the game. That's the game. Can anyone just do it? No, of course not. No free lunches, right? This is a very extremely difficult discipline to understand and wield, right, properly. You have to have the most subtle inferences, the most subtle understandings of the mind. And you also have to accept that often your imagination is poisoning your mind, right? That this is the game, right? That it's there, right? That there's a connection. The consciousness is everywhere. A conscious field permeates every cubic centimeter of space, right? And since you operate a small filter, a small step-down valve that is your brain of that divine connective thing, right? Then you can find people, places, times, locations, objects, right? Right? Heal the sick, assassinate from 4,000 miles away without ever doing anything. Yes, this is the power. These are the stakes, right? And so it's one thing for Quentin to hate me, right? Right? But now, right now, it's time to talk about it. You know? It's time to talk about it. It's good. It's good. It's fine. It's fine. You know? Right? I don't need it. I blew it. You take that movie. Right? And I sued because that's what he told me to do. Right? Right? And so it's so far gone now, right? That he has succeeded. He's succeeded in some way. Yeah. He's destroyed my mind in some way. I'd like to think that I'm wearing it well. But I'll question my every thought forever. So. Right? What does the perfect minute have to do with Quentin Tarantino? I revealed myself in full with the board, right? My cat's giving me. What are you biting? On the perfect minute on January 3rd. Right? Because I'm not a dumbass. That's when you do it.